Okay, how do you guys feel about this? Kanye and Candace Owens are serendipitously wearing
kind of a beautiful couple.
White Lives Matter. She's married. She's married. Candace Owens was with him at TMZ when he said that slavery was a choice.
Okay.
So that's who was with him at the time. And then he kind of pulled away from some of it. Now, I think there's nothing wrong with like, I wanted this to be fake news. I thought it was an old photo. I thought this was an old photo. I didn't think this was a new photo.
Like when he was running for president or something.
Yeah, I think there's, like, Candace Owens and Kanye are both into Thomas Sowell, right? Thomas Sowell is a brilliant philosopher, educator, economist, amazing guy, black guy. One of the smartest, brilliant, most minds. But because he's a conservative, he oftentimes gets suppressed, and his information gets suppressed. He's not, you know what I mean? And so he has some controversial views as well. And a lot of what you hear from a Candace Owens and a lot of black conservatives is a lot of Thomas Sowell stuff. Not just black conservatives. Everybody loves Thomas Sowell. So I don't think there's anything wrong with saying like, yo, I'm a conservative, get it from the bootstraps, yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
I just don't quite follow.
This is
why? Like, why are we doing this? Like, help me understand this.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those things where it's like, oh man, you went like 10 steps too far.
10, yeah.
Like be black and be conservative. Enjoy it. Be outspoken about it. Maybe even wear a Trump hat, a MAGA hat.
I don't even see that. I don't.
White lives matter.
It's obvious that white lives matter.
Yes.
Right? Like we all could understand that.
It just looks funny being printed.
If you're white, your life matters. The whole point of the slogan, and by the way, that organization was a complete train wreck. I don't know anybody that donated to the organization. I didn't support the organization or donate to the celebration. But the sentiment, the idea of the sentiment outside of all the neo-Marxists and all the nonsense stuff was that based on how certain people were feeling in society, the black lives don't matter as much as white lives. That was the sentiment. Here, this is to poke.
Oh, it's totally
like he's totally poking. Like he's poking, and he has his fashion show. This is in Paris at Fashion Week. He has his fashion show. He's modeling for Balenciaga now. I bet you there's some music in the pipeline. You know what I mean? Like this dude is poking, and I go, Kanye, do you still have to poke?
Yeah, bro, you're a billionaire.
You're a billionaire.
You guys think I'm stupid. I'm not stupid, guys.
Like,
I
do
know
you have to do this anymore?
Yeah.
You know, what is the point? You know, somebody said Thomas Sowell definitely cherry picks his info to support his views. Absolutely, but all these guys do.
Yeah.
All these guys do. Not just Thomas Sowell. The guys on the left cherry pick their points. Everybody cherry picks to some extent. Everybody has their own agenda. Everybody has their own philosophy about how they're going about stuff. None of this stuff, everybody has some kind of angle they're trying to push, right? Who's the guy, Patrick Bet-David was trying to get Thomas Sowell, he interviewed Noam Chomsky, who's a communist Marxist, is the guy who Hassan and the Young Turks are inspired by, right? And Valuetainment did an interview with him. And so Patrick Bet-David was trying to get him to debate Thomas Sowell on capitalism versus communism. And I come from real communism, just so you guys know, like real communism. And it's not lit, okay? It didn't work. Noam Chomsky, yes. And so the idea of anyone wanting to be a communist in America or socialism, to me, is just a complete...
That's goofy.
I will not soften that blow. It's completely terrible, right? To me. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have the conversation. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't have the debates. That doesn't mean that if you're really on some communism vibes, like Chomsky is, go ahead and debate, Thomas Sowell. And if Thomas Sowell is really like could deregulate everything, free market, yada, 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 cool. Like sit down and be challenged, right? And so I'm all for I'm probably to a fault, right? I'm all for healthy disagreements. I'm all for that. But this, I just think was, he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He knew it was time to roll out something. And he's just poking. Like he's poking him. They stopped hanging out. Kanye made it a point to stop hanging out with Candace a couple years ago after the whole TMZ debacle. And so the fact that this is happening now It's like, man, he's trying to stir the pot. He's trying to get people talking. He's trying to get folks upset. And it's kind of whack to me because I don't think he needs to do this, right? I don't think he needs to do this. And I think if you care this much and you want to be this polarizing and make this sort of statement, cool. How about you set up some debates? Like, how about you go set up some discussions? Because my opinion is when there's debates, when there's discussions, Candace Owens versus AOC, I would love to see that discussion, right? I don't like either of them like that. If I'm going down the line politically, I think they're both trash in the way they communicate. But that would be an interesting conversation. Why not use your influence and your leverage to go and make some stuff like that happen? Right? Why not? Yeah, it's like, is it just because down to 2, down to 3 is coming? Are we selling another STEM player? And to me, that becomes productive. Didn't Kanye deny Candace publicly a few years ago? Absolutely he denied her, Brave. He absolutely denied her. I have not reached out to Hassan, but I mean, maybe I should. I would love to debate Hassan. I think Hassan is off his rocker with some of this stuff. And I always think it's interesting that the most communistic and the most socialistic folks always be the most paid. Why don't you give away some of that money, right? Instead of just being an advocate, why don't you give away some of that money and go build some of these systems? But anyway, I'm not going to go off the track, right? And by the way, like, I think we need checks and balances. I think we need some sort of regulation, right? There's certain industries that need to be regulated. The airline industry needs to be regulated. You shouldn't just let them regulate themselves. Trains, transportation, they need to be regulated. Regulation is not a bad word. Some jobs may need unions. I'm not one of those folks that's like, yo, $0 minimum wage. I think that's kind of wonky. But at the same time, I'm also like, fam, you're not going to make a livable wage working fast food. I'm sorry. If you think that that's that your lot in life is to work at McDonald's and be able to make a livable wage off of that, I'm not for that either, right? I don't know. I have a more balanced view, but I definitely lean more conservative on a lot of this stuff. And so I just go, cool, man. Like you want to be polarizing. Okay, sweet. How about you create some polarizing debates? And by the way, this is stuff I'm doing behind the scenes. We potentially got some sponsors involved. And this is why it's important for you guys to rock out with us and support, and it's pinned up in the chat right now, support what we're doing with our new podcast launch. I teamed up with Moment for the exclusive live premiere of the anticipated Bless God podcast. And what I need you to do is tune in to experience a roller coaster of emotions as I pull out the most shocking stories, experiences, and insights from an elite lineup of guests. This is an exclusive podcast experience with live behind-the-scenes commentary, Q&A, and more. Your ticket gets you access to the exclusive live event, early access to new merch, specifically this hoodie right here, and private links to the first 5 unreleased full podcasts. You guys haven't seen any of this stuff yet, and the tickets for that are only $7. When you get to the main page, click the yellow Get Ticket button, scroll down to the add-ons, and throw in your ticket to the after party as well as some exclusive merchandise. And I will see you there.
Ruslan.
And it said that Simeon blessed God.